This is what stagflation looks like. During the Great Depression in the 1920s, Germany was hit by hyperinflation. The whole economy collapsed in a matter of months. Ordinary citizens suffered the most. The government's money was so worthless, a whole wheelbarrow of it couldn't buy a loaf of bread. You might as well use it for wallpaper. At some point, the situation got so bad that the prices doubled almost every 4 days. There's evidence that it was cheaper to burn the money instead of buying wood or coal. Today, we're getting closer and closer to an economic collapse. Central banks around the world tighten their grip on the economy simultaneously. According to the World Bank, this will have an undesired effect on all of us. Estimations indicate that we are headed into a deep recession. What should you do to best adapt for the coming downfall? I have one surprising piece of advice you have probably not heard before. Stay until the end as I will reveal what you should do and what I am doing right now to prepare. Okay, first, we have to know why we are headed into a recession. The world is tremendously complex, and it is impossible to comprehend every causality and triggering cause of global action like a recession. But narrowing the information down, we concluded with two explanations for the coming recession. Firstly is the insanely high inflation rate both in the US as well as the rest of the world. Since May of 2020, we have seen inflation go from 2% to a formidable 9% on a worldwide basis. The alarming report from the World Bank is based on the financial predicament we are in and discusses how the central banks have handled it so far. Furthermore, the researcher presents different scenarios of what we can expect. So the consequence of the central bank's stricter monetary policy is a global recession according to the World Bank. To sufficiently suppress the increasing inflation, most central banks have rapidly raised the interest rates. This has happened with a degree of synchronicity not seen over the past 5 decades. When increasing the interest rate, the central bank slows down the economy, which, as a result, counters the high inflation rate. But it says in the report from the World Bank that the currently expected trajectory of interest rate increases and other policy actions may not be sufficient to bring global inflation back down to levels seen before the pandemic, suggesting the central bank's monetary policy will not be adequate enough to prevent a global recession. While they also included with another scenario where the effect of the central bank's synchronicity and persistence with the high interest rate through 2023 would also lead to a global downturn. There's also the possibility of a stagflation, or in other words, a recession inflation. The last time this happened was in the 70s when we had high inflation, a stalling economy, and unemployment rates that remained high. This can be the outcome if the high interest rates do not knock down the inflation rate while we maintain a descending economy because of the geopolitical situations we are in. Secondly, we have the war in Ukraine and renewed COVID-19 outbreaks in China. This has compounded an already bleak global supply chain crisis, which is causing shortages of commodities a nation must have to ensure national security. This type of disruption can jeopardize a country's ability to defend itself and look after its citizens, in addition to issues of equity, justice, and economic stability. Furthermore, the war in Ukraine has escalated the tension between Europe and Russia. It has resulted in significant surges in food and energy prices, leaving the average American and European with abnormally high living expenses. The combination of these two situations can be disastrous. Most of the general population have mortgages and student loans. 65% of homeowners have a mortgage in the US. The interest rate on the loan has already been elevated, thus making it more difficult for the average person and family to maintain their loan. It is predicted that the interest rate will go further up in 2023. In addition, we have surging food and energy prices, making it even more expensive for the average household. So now you are probably wondering what you should do to save yourself from the sinking economic ship we are on. Before I reveal my plan, could you just take 2 seconds of your day to like and subscribe if you have found any of this interesting? It would be incredibly helpful for the channel, and if you change your mind, you can always unsubscribe. Well, there's no correct answer to the question of what to do since it is impossible to know the future. But here's what we have found to be the most profitable financial guidance to follow during uncertain times like these. They will allow you to stay afloat and not sink in case of an economic disaster. First of all, invest only if you have a waterproof plan or you are experienced. If you're uncertain about an investment or you hear your neighbor or an online investing guru say that you have to invest now or it is too late, hold your horses. Take your time to analyze and keep your emotions aside. In a recession, there are many opportunities to become rich, but those opportunities are only offered to those with cash ready to be invested. Always have some of your money on the sideline just in case a great opportunity arises. If you want to invest during these risky times, I would suggest using a method called dollar cost averaging. This means buying stocks or other commodities every other week or month. That way, you are spreading the risk. You won't hit the bottom and make a perfect trade, but if you're in it for the long term, you will see some great returns. Another method is to invest in so-called recession-proof industries such as food, health, and utilities. But as you already know, remember to always do a lot of research beforehand. Secondly, if you are already invested in stocks and you have seen your portfolio drop in recent months, do not sell or panic. Unless the fundamentals of the company and its outlook are on the right trajectory, there's no reason to take a loss. Thirdly, enjoy time with your family and friends. Try new things and invest in yourself. Maybe learn a new thing or two. This is what Warren Buffett always teaches. Your greatest asset is your own competence. Even if the inflation would skyrocket to the heights of the Great Depression, no one can take away your knowledge. If you stayed all till the end, please hit the like button just as a token of your support. If you want to know more about how to make money during inflationary times, check out this video. See you next time.